What color shoes would you suggest that would be a universal pairing option for whether you're wearing black or brown leathers overall? You know, like your belt, your sporran strap, and all that are black or brown. Is there a way to have one pair of shoes that would work for whatever color combination you felt like putting on that day?
Sure. Black is universal. It's going to work with anything. A lot of people mix black and brown. It's traditional to wear a brown sporran with black shoes or whatever. And it's not a something that cannot be done over in the UK. Here in the US, we tend to match the leathers, where I would go, but you could wear a brown sporran and black belt and black shoes. My personal, head twitch kind of thing kicks in is if you're wearing multiple shades of brown. So if you have like a chocolate brown sporran and a light tan belt and a medium tan pair of shoes, that to me starts to look a little too hodgepodgey. But if you're wearing one shade of brown, one shade of black, that's fine. If you're wearing, chestnut shoes and a black sporran, have at it. It's not against the rules as they, or conventions as it were. But it's one of those things where Americans tend to be matchy-matchy, specifically with leathers. You don't have to be in the UK, but you still want to look like you got dressed on purpose. You didn't just, get dressed in the dark.
Yeah, I think if it's a casual outfit for a festival or going hiking or something, who cares? But if you're trying to do like a smart day wear kind of a thing, then yeah, I would probably default to black. I don't think there's not a lot of two-tone black and brown shoe options out there. He mentioned, he was thinking more in terms of boots, not casual shoes like Oxfords or whatever. I think you can find some two-tone shoes, but matching browns is a pain. I would default to black simply because you can let it kind of disappear into the background. And then if you're going to have brown accessories, make sure that you choose one that you want to do the talking. I mean, for me, it's going to be the sporran. I think that's an obvious choice. Like today, I've got a two-tone sporran on actually, and basically, I got a black belt because I don't have another brown belt that's going to match this particular color brown. I'm going to let the sporran do all the talking and let the belt kind of recede. So that's how I would approach it with the shoes and try not to overthink it.
Yeah, our sporran maker has a few different shades of brown. And what we actually did was we approached him and said, look, here's our shoes. This is the brand of shoe that we carry in brown. This is our shoe. Match this. He had chocolate brown, a light tan, like he had like 4 different shades of brown, and none of them blended well with our shoes. And we only had one option for brown shoe, or for ghillie broke. So we said, look, Greg, match this brown here. And we actually have our brown leather belts and our brown sporrans, the leather for it, dyed to a specific shade of brown to tone well with the shoes so that all of our browns will match well together. When we get belts from a different company and sporrans from this company and shoes from that company in their stock shades, it's too desperate. And like it's like chocolate brown to dark chocolate to light tan, and it ends up looking like a dog's dinner. I had a discussion with Bill Whelan, who's the MD over at House of Edgar this week, and we talked about the American matchy-matchy thing and the Scots traditional viewpoint of it doesn't have to match. And he actually corrected me. He said, that's not really true anymore. He's like, as a traditional long-standing thing, sure. As a current day thing where rental or hire companies over in Scotland that are hiring for weddings, or people buying kilts in shops in Glasgow and Edinburgh, wherever, what they are currently buying today are tweeds to match the kilt, sporrans to match the belt. Like they're definitely starting to lean today's society more towards matchy-matchy than they would have 30, 40, 100 years ago. So it's an interesting kind of twist on it where Americans, in my memory, have always kind of been matchy-matchy, and at least the younger Scots that are growing up with it, that are getting married in it, and that kind of thing, are starting to look more towards the matchy and less towards the hodgepodge. I love this tweed, so I'm going to wear it, even though it's brown with my green and black kilt, that kind of thing. So it's a neat evolution, even in Scotland, not away from tradition, but sort of like a movement of the tradition a little bit.
I'd say that it probably is a good thing. It says good things about maybe where the Scottish economy has been. That basically, I think the old attitude of not worrying about things matching was because you owned one jacket, you owned one kilt, you owned one sporran, and you didn't buy them at the same time. You didn't necessarily get them at the same time, so you just didn't worry about it because you didn't have the option. But the industry has expanded enough, and people have the spare, the spending power more often now, perhaps, that they can afford to take their time and say, well, I really want to make this look really dialed in. And they have choices. So that sounds like a very positive thing to me. I mean, if you want to ignore it, you can. You could still just say, I don't care, this is my sporran. But it's nice that they have the option.
Or they're buying it more intentionally all at the same time, because it's not daily wear, it's something you're wearing for specific occasions. So you know that I'm gonna have one kilt jacket, I'm gonna have one kilt, so I want them to tone well together to match, that kind of thing, versus I have one kilt and then later on I bought my tweed, or I bought my PC for my wedding, and then later on I bought a tweed jacket for other stuff, and you kind of piecemealed it versus saying, nope, this is my outfit, I want it to look well put together from day one. So yeah. It's an interesting evolution of the whole thing and kind of changing of the whole thing. I hope that the traditional does not go away, and I don't want that to be poo-pooed and frowned upon, but I like that it's evolving to be more better matching, but more incorporative or incorporating more current traditions, current fads, for lack of a better term, as well as tradition. So I think it's going to be neat. So what do you think? Are you the matchy type, or do you like to mix and match your leathers? Let us know in the comments. If you want to see another video on kilt leather colors, check out this video over here. If you want to see an entire playlist of kilt accessory videos, check out this playlist.